Prosecutors confirmed death of suspected ringleader in Friday's terrorist attack.
And Canada will continue.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau received a welcome boost after his first formal meeting with U.S. President Barack Obama. Protesters and police clash in Minneapolis after officers are named in the shooting of an unarmed black man.
Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Nicole Williams, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. French officials say the man believed to be the mastermind of Friday's deadly attacks in Paris has been killed. Abdelhamid Abaoud has been identified as one of the bodies found after yesterday's police raid on an apartment building in Saint-Denis. Police say the body was found in the rubble of the building. His identity was determined from skin samples. Officials say the female suicide bomber who blew herself up during yesterday's raid was Abaoud's cousin. They say it took longer to identify the remains because of the condition of the bodies and the dangerous state of the building. The National Assembly today approved a 3-month extension to the country's state of emergency. The Senate votes on the measure tomorrow and is expected to approve it. France is warning Europe that the militant group ISIS could use biological weapons in future attacks. France's prime minister says he's not ruling out the possibilities of chemical weapons in future ISIS attacks. Meanwhile, in Poland, rescue services took part in chemical weapons training at the subway station this morning. Polish rescue services arrived at the station in hazmat suits while people inside the station pretended to cough, get sick, and have seizures. More than 700 evacuation drills have taken place in Warsaw this year. This one was planned before Friday's Paris attacks. The head of Europe's police force say the EU is facing the most serious terror threat in more than 10 years.
Reasonable to assume, therefore, without any recourse to exaggeration, that further attacks are likely. And overall, therefore, this is why I think this represents the most serious terrorist threat faced by Europe in over 10 years.
The head of Europol says the Paris attacks, as well as last month's bombing of the Russian airliner, proves ISIS is determined to export its brand of terrorism to Europe. He compared Friday's attacks to the ones in Mumbai in 2008, where 166 people were killed around the city.
In Paris last Friday evening. Something indeed that the security authorities in Europe have been fearing since that attack in Mumbai in 2008.
He made his comments during a hearing in the European Parliament in Brussels. To the Philippines now, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and U.S. President Barack Obama sat down for their first official meeting at the APEC summit. The leaders have spoken by phone and they chatted at the G20 gathering earlier this week in Turkey. But this was their first formal meeting since Trudeau took office 2 weeks ago. Security and the fight against ISIS was the main topic of conversation. Trudeau says Canada is willing to do its part to help, but repeated his election promise about Canadian fighter jets.
I made a clear commitment to Canadians to withdraw the 6 fighter jets, and we will be doing that in collaboration and coordination with all of our allies to ensure that the coalition still has tremendous impact against ISIL.
Trudeau told Obama that Canada is still committed to the U.S.-led campaign against terrorism. More protests over police shootings in the U.S. Tensions escalated last night in Minneapolis after 2 police officers were named in the fatal shooting of a black man. Demonstrations turned violent as the crowd threw rocks, bricks, and bottles at police. 24-year-old Jamar Clark was shot on Sunday and died from a gunshot wound to the head. There are conflicting reports on whether he was handcuffed at the time of the shooting. Both officers have been placed on administrative leave during the investigation. Here at home, Senator Mike Duffy is back in court today. His trial has resumed after a 3-month break. The trial is in its final stage with key witnesses set to testify against Duffy, a friend and former colleague. Duffy has pleaded not guilty to 31 charges of fraud, breach of trust, and bribery. The disgraced senator is currently on paid leave of absence from the Senate. 1 pedestrian has been killed and at least 14 injured in less than 24 hours in Toronto. The accidents happened in all different parts of the city since 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The latest incident occurred around 5:30 this morning at Kipling and Norseman. A man in his 70s was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries after being struck. A 47-year-old man was killed yesterday at Markham and Eglinton in Scarborough after being hit by 2 vehicles. It's considered one of the city's deadliest intersections. Police are trying to determine what caused all the accidents. Grocery shopping might get a little more interesting now that some Ontario supermarkets can sell beer. The province has announced the 13 companies that were chosen through a bidding competition. They include Loblaws, Metro, Sobeys, and Walmart Canada. Up to 60 locations could be allowed to sell beer by the holidays. As many as 450 stores could be authorized over the next 3 years. The companies now have to apply for licenses to sell the suds in specific locations. The annual ride program was at North Campus today to launch its holiday season program. Our reporter Greg Chow has the details.
The event started off with a private viewing of the top 3 contestants in RideCheck's holiday video contest. Officers from several police forces watched the video.
I think the videos were very impactful. They really deliver a strong message, and I'm really proud of the messages that our students put together.
A second screening was held for students in the LRC, and a $2,000 first place prize was awarded to Melissa Correz.
I love my sister so much, and I wanted to do something with her with this money for Christmas.
So today is to be
Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders also made an appearance to talk about drinking and driving.
Each and every year there's a loss of life because people make poor decisions. And because of those poor decisions, people are dying. So we're saying that if you are going to be under the influence of alcohol, or if you're going to be under the influence of any drugs, do not drive a motor vehicle.
Officers gave students tips on safe driving before setting up a ride program on Humber College Boulevard. The Ride Checks Initiative program launched its first but not last of its many ride checks that will be happening throughout the holiday season. Greg Chow, Humber News.
There's a new campaign in Toronto that aims to highlight the impact parental alienation can have on their fathers and families. Laura De Silva has the details.
We're here at the Canadian Centre for Men and Families, where the Equality Association is launching a parental alienation billboard campaign that addresses the concerns that arise when a father is removed from a child's life. Images of a child caught in a war between parents aims to highlight the need for co-parenting during divorce or separation.
The long-term consequences for the child aren't only the loss of that one parent. They're the loss of part of your heritage, part of your life, part of your history, part of who you are. And that never comes back.
Fathers who have been denied access to their children showcase the impact of alienation through personal stories.
I can tell you that through this process I've almost bankrupted myself, and that's not legal fees. That's because it's very hard at times to get out of bed in the morning and carry on with life. If you can imagine having one of your children literally abducted and taken somewhere not knowing where they are, it's a very similar situation. Unfortunately, the courts endorse it in some cases.
As of last Friday, Sophia, when I had access for a weekend with her, which is alternate weekends, Sophia ate okay. She did not sleep well. It took her 24 hours to calm down and relax with me. On Saturday night, she had a full night's sleep. I would anticipate within 4 years I will not see my daughter if this continues.
From a legislative point of view, we do think that equal shared parenting should be the presumption when a family breaks down, that it should be the case as a default position that a child enjoys a full and healthy relationship with both a mother and a father, or by both parents, when a relationship does break down.
People are encouraged to follow the parental alienation billboard campaign on social media via the hashtag #Let'sTalkMen. Laura De Silva, Humber News.
We all love Toy Stories, but these ones should be sent to the island of misfits. Safety toy advocates have come up with the top 10 most dangerous toys for children. The list includes a realistic-looking toy gun, a quick folding trampoline for 6-year-olds, and a Ninja Turtles toy sword. Other toys on the list include fake poo, a slingshot, and dinosaur claws. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Morgan Geller will have your 3-day forecast.
Looks like I won't be needing this anymore. It's currently cloudy, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the sun will come out right now. I'll have your full 3-day forecast after the break.
We're going to take a quick break, but for now we leave you with this. And as a note to our viewers, don't try this highly illegal activity at home. Nobody likes raking the leaves, but these Quebec men are really feeling the heat. Instead of bagging or composting the leaves, they decide to blow them up. Here's how it looks.
Tabarnak, man!